The Colts put a bow on training camp today with their final appearance at Grand Park, being a joint practice with the Packers, and they were gracious hosts. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Colts, your daily Indianapolis Colts podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in and making us your first post-practice listen of the day. This is your daily podcast covering your Indianapolis Colts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Jake Arthur, the resident credentialed media member for horseshoehuddle.com, coming to you every day here from Westfield, Indiana. Not at Grand Park right now, at the media area in the beautiful Holiday Inn Express here in Westfield, Indiana. So please excuse my lovely music up here overhead. But we are talking about practice number 14 today, the final one of training camp. Again, it was a joint practice with the Green Bay Packers. These two teams will face off on Saturday at Lucas Oil Stadium in the Colts' second preseason game. But this is a major chapter closed in a very pivotal summer for the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, all eyes are on the quarterback competition. Injuries are piling up, and just everyone's just wanting to really see how this team closed out their summer for the most part. So let's get to it. Let's get to the injuries first. Here's a list of guys who did not practice today. Alec Pierce, Nick Cross, Kenny Moore, Khalil Herbert, Juju Brents, Jalen Jones, Sean McKeon, Kwity Paye, Jalen Carlisle, Danny Pinter, Desmond Little. It felt like I was never going to stop talking there on that one. For the Packers, now they've got a longer list than what I'm going to get to, but some of the bigger ones, Jordan Love and Xavier McKinney, did not practice today. So two of the best players the Colts did not get the opportunity to go against today. As far as those injuries go, we did get some updates on some of these guys today. Alec Pierce and Kenny Moore, Shane Steichen said after practice, basically those guys are starting to feel a little better. Obviously, it seems like they avoided anything serious. We had asked much earlier in the week about updates on Juju Brents and Jalen Jones, and there were no updates at the time. But Shane did say today those guys are kind of progressing now, and they might be getting a little bit closer. Still no timetable on any of these things, of course. But obviously, you would hope these cornerbacks start to get back before week one, before they start having to kind of make roster moves that cut down time, like putting guys on IR and, having to manipulate things where guys have to come off the practice squad, and it can just be kind of messy. So hopefully their health at cornerback clears up a little bit before week one. But let's talk about the quarterbacks here. So the offense in general, very clunky, very sloppy, lots of missed opportunities. And whereas early in the day, I thought Green Bay was really imposing their will, as practice went on, it was very clear this just was not going to be the Colts' day. There were, a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and this just was not them playing their most serious football. So Daniel Jones, on paper, it looks good. 13 of 16 completions. That's 81%. But of those 3 incompletions, 2 of them were interceptions. One of them his fault, one of them definitely not. On the first one, he hit A.D. Mitchell over the middle of the field on a nice little intermediate crosser, and it just kind of bounced right off of Mitchell and into the hands of Packers corner Keyshawn Nixon. So definitely it was a good throw from Jones, but it's going to go down on his record as absolutely not, one of the worst things that can happen for a quarterback, an interception. Jones had some nice plays today. He hit Josh Downs during the 2-minute drill on a nice crossing route that got them into pretty good position, which unfortunately in that 2-minute drive, Jones punctuated that with his second interception, which most definitely was his fault on that one. Threw it right to, I think he threw it right to Isaiah Simmons on that one. Anthony Richardson had one later that we'll get to, but 3 interceptions on the day for those 2 quarterbacks. As for Anthony Richardson, 9 of 20 passing during 11 on 11s, which of course is not great. That's 45%. He had 1 touchdown and 1 interception. He did this wouldn't have affected things much, but he did have 2 pretty bad drops by his receivers in the red zone. Laquan Treadwell dropped one that was inside the opponent's 5-yard line. And then Pittman dropped what was probably Anthony's best throw of the day during 11-on-11s. He floated one, back towards the back corner near the pylon in the end zone, and Pittman just couldn't hold on to it. So that would have gone down as a touchdown. Near the end, I mentioned, Daniel Jones got the 2-minute drive. Each guy got an opportunity for a 2-minute drive there at the end. Anthony did pretty well with his 3 quick strikes. Had Anthony Gould on kind of like a shorter intermediate one, and then he got a deep crosser to Michael Pittman Jr., and then hit Tyler Warren up the seam for like kind of a post route for 25, 30 yards, just quick strike, really in momentum. Again, we've come to know that Anthony in that crunch time, when there's no thinking and just doing, he seems to excel. So he quickly got them into the red zone. And then a couple plays later, Jonathan Taylor punched it in for a very short touchdown. That then was punctuated by Anthony finding Downs for a short 2-point conversion there to end the series. So Anthony finished the day pretty strong, but overall, there's really no good way to paint up 9 of 20 as anything, better than just suboptimal. He did have some dimes that were dropped by receivers, but he also had some bad misses. So overall, we're going to chalk this one as a not great day. Had some good throws, as you like to see, but overall, just 9 of 20 with some really bad misses. Like, there was, I think, 2 plays where they would have been clear touchdowns or just like conversions on third down. Like, they were such layups that he missed so badly. And I don't know if this is something he talked about coming out of Florida as a rookie. Like, he almost just gets so excited when there's like a gimme play right in front of him that he psychs himself out. And that's like exactly what it looked like. Daniel Jones had one of those today too. But if you're giving one guy the edge today, I would give Jones just the slightest edge. Obviously much more efficient today. And only one of those interceptions was his fault. Same with Anthony, 1 interception. But Jones, for as much dinking and dunking as it was, I think his day was slightly better. His former Giants teammate, Xavier McKinney, actually kind of called him out on it, shouted out to him from the sideline that he finally had completed a pass, downfield after everything he'd been trying was short early on. So not a banner day for the Colts offense and the quarterbacks. After practice, we obviously asked Shane a little bit about is there any progress in this quarterback decision? They don't have a timetable for it yet. No, they do not know who it's going to be yet. It could go through this third and final preseason game against the Bengals next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. But essentially, by week 1, they will probably have figured this thing out. And, I don't really blame them. It's not like either guy has really separated themselves as like the clear winner in this thing. Again, there could be things behind the scenes, like just like the things that the coaches can see that we will never be able to tell as, media and fans, like what the assignment is on a play, how much you're able to do, manipulating things at the line pre-snap and all that stuff. We're not going to know. But Shane did say that will kind of have a decent amount of weight in their decision. So no real movement for quarterback today. There was nobody who really separated themselves, and that was kind of already the case going in. So if you're hoping that this joint practice would really make things a little more clear, well, we're going to go ahead and punt to Saturday in the preseason game and hope that maybe one of the guys stands up there. But coming up, we're going to talk about the rest of the offense, not just the quarterbacks. And again, what was just a sloppy day, a couple standouts, but overall, not the best performance. This episode is presented by Yahoo Fantasy. It's the best time of the year. NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means that fantasy football season is back in full swing. This year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. This year, me, Zach, Derek, Alan, we're all going to be playing Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether it's it would be your first time or you're a veteran making your millionth Yahoo League. It is very, very well worth it. I've been playing Yahoo Leagues for years. I really like how user-friendly it is, from mobile and desktop. I just think it's probably the best platform out there. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues. It's a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated each week until there is just one team left standing. With the season around the corner, now's the time to get your league together and give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in head-to-head private leagues or join a public league with a bunch of randos. I've been there before. Sometimes you just want to be in as many leagues as possible. So stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. All right, let's talk offense. Do we have to? Yes, we do. So everything obviously starts up front with the offensive line, and I'm getting a little worried, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So let's just start. There was a bunch of penalties. You had at least one or two illegal formation penalties. Shane mentioned one where the tackle was lined up in the backfield. That's stuff that has got to get cleared up in the summer, because if you're still doing that stuff during the season, like that's a team that is not being coached out of those bad habits. But false starts continue to be an issue. I don't know when that's going to be cleared up. They mostly follow Anthony Richardson. He had mentioned earlier in camp that the offensive line approached him about his cadence, saying it was too low. And I really caught that today, because I was paying attention to Daniel Jones doing it at one point. And it's, it's loud, it's pronounced, it's classic quarterback cadence. And then there was a false start by the offense. And I noticed, from Anthony, I was like, that wasn't very loud. It's just probably not what they're looking for. And to switch back and forth from Anthony to Daniel, and one of the cadences being a bit different from the other, that's, you always have to be aware of what the snap is, when you break the huddle anyways. But I don't know. There's clearly something to it. And again, Anthony himself mentioned that the offensive line approached him about it. So we'll see if that gets improved at all. Pass protection, very, very ugly. So just in the first chunk of 11-on-11s, there were 4 sacks against Jones and Richardson with the first and second teams. I heard someone say they counted as many as, I think, 8 or 9 sacks against the Colts throughout the day. That is obviously horrendous. With the second team, Mose Vavayo had a high snap for Anthony Richardson. So you just see that stuff snowball, and it just gums up the works, and it makes it really hard to put together a sustainable drive, even in practice. I mean, they're trying to get, first, second, third down. They're trying to pull drives together, and that kind of stuff is just killer. But with the pass protection, when it was the first team, I primarily noticed was Braden Smith and Bernard Ryman. I'm a little worried that we're going to have to start paying pretty close attention to Braden Smith. This game coming up on Saturday will be a good opportunity for us, because the starters are going to play about a quarter. So Latu has been getting a lot of wins this summer in training camp, and it's mostly been against Braden over on the defense's left side, offense's right side. And it didn't look a ton better today. Now, Rashawn Gary for the Packers is a very, very good pass rusher. Don't get me wrong. So it's not like this is some scrub that's beating him. But to me now, I do think it's worth watching to see if this is going to be an issue throughout the year. If it's something he's going to get his feet back under him, because obviously, he missed a big chunk of the end of last year. So he could just have rust, whatever. But, it's the end of training camp now. So he's the starting right tackle, undoubtedly. So by the time week 1 rolls around, you really want to hope that you're hitting the ground running. I'm not saying to hit the panic alarm yet, but it definitely bears monitoring, because they already have 2 brand new starters at Tanner Bortolini and Matt Gonzalez. So that's enough to kind of have to monitor right there. You don't want one of your 3 pillars of the line, your right tackle that's been there since 2018, to be a problem. So that's obviously something we're going to keep an eye on. Outside of the offensive line, A.D. Mitchell has obviously been a pretty hot topic. His day started out really strong. If you caught me, I tweeted that he really had an awesome showing in one-on-ones, had a couple highlight plays. If you've been looking over at the Colts Twitter account, you've already seen 1 or 2 of those. So he was cooking guys one-on-one like we have become used to seeing. But there was, I don't want to say chippiness during the 11-on-11s when those got started. But him and the secondary for Green Bay were chirping back and forth quite a bit. In particular, cornerback Keyshawn Nixon. And I mean, it looked like AD was winning his routes and getting separation, and the ball just wasn't being placed to him well. But then, just right after they had their kind of loudest exchange was when AD had that kind of intermediate breaking route, and Jones, plunked it off his chest, and then it was intercepted by Nixon to add insult to injury. So not only are you talking trash for the guy, but then the ball bounces off your chest and then he intercepts it. So obviously that's not what you want to do. And then the next play, AD did catch it, and then someone punched it out of his grasp and he fumbled and lost it. So he had a really rough stretch there. He did have a couple highlight plays. I don't want to make it seem like he had a totally terrible day during 11-on-11s, but that was a pretty rough two-play stretch, like pretty much worst case scenario if you're a receiver. So he bounced back. Shane Steichen mentioned that, those obviously were a couple ugly plays, but they thought he bounced back pretty well after that. As far as the run game goes, now Green Bay is good against the run, so it shouldn't really come as much of the surprise that they stopped the run pretty well for the Colts. Wasn't a whole lot to write about there. There's a couple good runs from Jonathan Taylor. He broke one free to the left side that I think would have been a legitimately big run. Had another one as well that probably would have resulted in a first down. Tyler Goodson had one that punctuated a really ugly red zone drive for the Colts offense, but he got it in from about 5 yards out. So what might be the Colts 1-2 punch at running back? We'll see how DJ Giddens factors into this thing. Khalil Herbert when he comes back from injury, if he makes the team. I'm definitely interested in the Colts backfield. I still think Jonathan Taylor is obviously going to kind of dominate those snap shares, but the guys who carve out roles behind them, as the third down back in pass pro, who's the primary pass catching back, like I think those things are going to remain pretty interesting. And then a couple guys I kind of wanted to shine a light on in those one-on-ones. I mentioned that Mitchell had a pretty big day. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., Anthony Gould, and A.D. Mitchell, I thought were big winners from the one-on-ones. Those guys, either they caught everything that was thrown to them, they had really good routes, they got separation, or just generally made it look pretty. Mitchell did a bit of all that, but Gould had a long touchdown. I figure about 35 or so yards from Anthony during the one-on-ones. That one I know is on Twitter already over at the Colts account. Pittman had a big one as well. I think another, 30-ish yard gain or so. And then Downs didn't, I think he caught one or two of them, but his routes were devastating. I thought he got really, really good separation, kind of broke some ankles out there during one-on-ones. I should probably mention Downs did leave the day with, I think it was a hamstring injury. He did not return. It was near the end of practice, so I don't know that he would have returned regardless, but that's his designation. Samson Ebukam also left with a back injury. So yeah, let's go ahead and add more injuries to the list. Hopefully that doesn't keep those guys out too long. But coming up, guys, we're going to talk about the defense before we just put a bow on this thing and send it on to Saturday and the second of 3 preseason games. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, investments, whatever. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. But that's why there's Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Doesn't matter. If you're me, sometimes some things are phone activities and some things you got to do on your computer. You got to see everything wide in a bigger screen. But with Monarch, it really doesn't matter. It's pretty. The interface is pretty user-friendly on either platform. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see your clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I've linked all my accounts to Monarch, and I immediately spotted a few subscriptions I wasn't even using. I mentioned with you guys the other day there was a plant identifying app. I am a nerd, but I forgot that I did not cancel the free subscription to it, and bam, Monarch had my back there. So canceling those alone saved me money every single month. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off of your first year. That's 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. All right, let's talk about the defense real quick now. Just as a disclaimer, the Colts offense and defense, they put them on different fields throughout the day other than like the last 10 minutes. So I was watching the offense because, the feedback we get, whether it's written articles or on here, you guys want to know about the quarterback competition. So that's what I focused on. I did talk to some colleagues to figure out, what kind of stood out on the defensive field, though. And then again, about the last 10 minutes, everybody got on the same field, and I got to see a little bit of actual defensive action for myself. So some things that kind of stuck out. Cam Bynum, I think, is kind of developing a signature move I've noticed throughout camp. So there will be like a comeback route or something thrown on the offense, and he will fly in from the free safety spot and just undercut that route. He'll fly in and dive in and break up the pass. And it's, I have noticed him do that so much this summer rather than just, big pass breakups downfield or like on the sidelines or anything. It's like that signature thing. The guy has very good breaking speed, and he closes in and can break up things that I don't think quarterbacks even know are coming. So he's looking like a very good free agent pickup for the Colts so far. The pass rush apparently was not much to write home about. Laiatu Latu did get a sack. Adebaware got a sack. So Latu clearly is a guy we've talked a lot about. But Adebaware continues to build on a nice summer. He had a good preseason performance the other day as well against the Ravens. So that's definitely a guy you want to see do something heading into year 3. He's kind of a guy that does well in the summer, but, during the regular season is kind of MIA a little bit. So if he can give you just about anything more than what he's been doing, I think that'd be a big win. I was told the secondary did pretty good. The pass defense, not the pass rush, but the actual pass defense in general against Packers backup quarterback Malik Willis was good. From what I saw, I had mentioned Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson got an opportunity to do their 2-minute drills at the end. The Packers also got theirs. So with the first team offense, Malik Willis went 0 for 4 on that 2-minute drive. So the Colts defense won that one, and I believe they got the next one as well against Green Bay's backup. So the Colts defense finished up strong at the end of the day. That's pretty much it as far as I know about the defense. Special teams, there was a little bit here. Both Spencer Schrader and Maddox Trujillo kicked. So Spencer Schrader was 3 of 4, had makes from 39, 46, and 63 yards. He did miss a 33-yarder, oddly enough. I don't know if he just wasn't locked in or whatever, but that was the first kick he attempted, missed it way right, and then made the other 3 again, including a 63-yarder. Trujillo made all 4 of his kicks, again, from 33, 39, 46, and 63. So very encouraging that both kickers got a shot at making a 63-yard field goal, which I believe is still the NFL record, 63 yards. Both of them made it on the first shot, didn't have to attempt it again. So both of those kickers have good legs. They're capable of going 60-plus. It's probably a good thing because we know Shane Steichen, when he gets to the opponent's side of the field, he probably would only prefer to go for field goals of 50 yards or more. I think he's pretty much going to go for it on 4th down, any other opportunity outside of that. So that's all I know about defense and special teams today. Remember, game is on Saturday at 1, Colts and Packers at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's going to be Daniel Jones getting the start. He's going to play for a couple series. Anthony Richardson is going to play the rest of the first half, and then most of the starters are going to play for about a quarter. I've been told the Packers starters probably not going to play very much, not very much, if any at all. And then for the Colts, they're going to wrap up the preseason next Saturday in Cincinnati against the Bengals, kind of a tradition there. Again, that game is also going to be at 1. We don't know about playing time yet. Shane Steichen is not committed to whether the quarterback competition will still be going, and they'll need that game to further evaluate if any other starters are going to play. So we'll see. If not, get ready for a very heavy dose of Riley Leonard and Jason Bean in that one. So again, guys, thank you for making Locked On Colts your first listen of the day. NFL fantasy draft season is here. So for your second listen now, go find the Locked On Fantasy Football podcast with hosts Vinny Iyer and Michelle Magic. Listen every day to prep your fantasy draft and become the most informed manager so that you can dominate your leagues and take home the trophy this season. Find Locked On Fantasy Football on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please remember, if you want to chat with us directly, get the inside scoop, see what's going on here. Again, I'm here every day. If you want to know if there's anything you're wondering about, what are your late night thoughts, your shower thoughts on this team, just shoot them over. The link is in the show notes, and ask us whatever you got rolling around your head there. If you don't already, follow at Locked On Colts, at Jake Arthur NFL, and at Zach Hicks 2 on Twitter. We're also on TikTok and Instagram as well. Also, please subscribe on YouTube. Leave ratings and reviews, nice ones, please, because with the season here, we want to get those ratings up and send us even further up the charts. That makes us feel good. So with that, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you after this game on Saturday.